Morning. A warm welcome. Cheers to those of you that are still having your coffee or whatever beverages of the morning. I welcome you here with me today. I have an exciting topic. Well, I don't know if it's exciting, but it is, as I put in the chat, I hope. There we go. The topic today is how not to care about what others or how not to care about others' opinions. Yeah. So looks like it's repeating in the chat. Well, at least the chat seems to be working today. So I'm super excited. If you're watching this live or recorded, make sure you say hi. You can hear me. What's funny is I don't see, oh, I do see. It's giving me a little meter. I'm still learning this system and actually looking at other systems out of curiosity to see what works well for me as far as ease of use. But, anyways, thank you for being here, wherever you are in the world. I'm here in Spokane, Washington. It's 39 degrees on February 3rd. I have a lot of friends and loved ones in Alaska that are really in the deep, dark cold. My feelings and love and warmth is sending through the screen. I hope it warms up for you. It's been like almost 100 degrees difference between you and me. I remember what that was like. So many memories, so many experiences. I can't tell you. Anyways, I don't miss it. I don't miss it at all. But let's dive in. Every Saturday at 10:30, I come on here and coach around a submitted question. You are more than welcome to submit a question to me that you want me to coach around on a live or my podcast. I would love to. I never mention your name, so it's all anonymous. It's all secretive. Just like this scenario today, you have no idea who submitted it, which keeps it anonymous, right? It keeps it fun. A lot of my clients submit questions in between their coaching sessions to get further, greater progress, quicker, faster. Usually the ones they submit to me are the smaller bite-sized itty bitty ones. And then in live coaching sessions, one-on-one, they really like to tackle the big, hairy, ugly thing that keeps them up at night. So let's begin. I always love to start with a quote. And really, honestly, the quote really will summarize everything that I'm going to cover today. But of course, it's more fun to hear my perspectives, my thoughts, how a happiness coach thinks. At least that's the point of these lives, is for you to get a peek into my brain, how I think, what I look at, what my thoughts are. But if you're watching this, let me know where you're tuning in from. Love to know how far I can reach. Whatever you're comfortable with. Could be just the state, the country. You could see planet Earth. I don't care. Let me know where you're watching this from. So the quote: "It's not our responsibility to control how others perceive us, nor should we be controlled and dictated by that either." Woo-hoo-hoo, CDA. Oh, so you're close by. Hello. We have nice weather. Like this winter has been, I'll take it. I take it. I love it. Hopefully, I don't know. I keep talking about, wow, we haven't had a lot of snow. How is that going to affect our summers? But we had so much rain. It's been so wet. It's so muddy at my house. Like it's so muddy. But then there's people that are saying if we don't have snow in the mountains, that can cause some havoc and troubles for our rivers and our fish and our plant life and, keeping the moisture in the ground throughout the year. So anyways, I don't know. I don't know enough about that stuff. But back to the quote. "It's not our responsibility to control how others perceive us, nor should we be controlled and dictated by it either." I do want to add to the quote, nothing what other people do is because of you. It's because of themselves. You see, every single person lives in their own reality. Every single person lives in their own dream and their own imagination and their own minds, their own reality, their own perceptions, their own assumptions, judgments, imagination, stories, all words for thoughts. Everyone lives in a completely different world to everyone else. just like your reality is unique to you, like your fingerprints, just like your fingerprints, they're unique to you. So when we take something personally, we make the assumption and the judgment and the interpretation that they know what's in our reality. We try to impose our world on other people when we give constructive criticism or criticism. We try to and vice versa. If you're taking what people do personally, you're taking it all out of context. And sometimes, well, actually, not sometimes, all the time, when a situation seems personal, when someone you think, you presume, you take it as an insult directly to you, taking it personal, most likely it has nothing to do with you. I like to say it's a them problem. I don't say that, but I think that. I in fact got insulted at a business yesterday. Like, I truly walked into this establishment, set up a new account, was there for 45 minutes of my time, which I thought should have only taken like 5 minutes. But regardless, let me just, you know, anyways, it's 45 minutes. And then right before I was done, the transaction was done. I am now a new client. I got insulted. I was like, wow. And I just looked and I was just like, okay. And I walked away. But it was shocking. It wasn't the business owner. The business owner was in the room, and I no doubt in my mind that he heard it. So I was shocked. Anyways, it was interesting. Shocked is the only word that I'm gonna use. But to me, I think to that situation is like, what is going on in that person's reality that they would say something like that and think that's okay? Like, what is going on there? What has happened to you that has you talking to people that way? This just blew my mind. But that's okay. But what other people say and do, the opinions of other people, the opinions that people have, that's according to their own rules, their own agreements that they have in their own mind, right? Just like this person, his rules, his agreements obviously differ than mine because I would never speak to a new client, a new person that's brought into an establishment that he's an employee. I know that for a fact. I am responsible for his paycheck. I mean, I'm obviously one of a lot of people, but I was like, wow, you're really going to talk to me like that? Like, that blows my mind. Me, of course, my rules, my experience, my own life. I had an established business for many, many, many years and had a lot of employees. And if one of my employees would have spoke like that to one of my clients, off with your head, you would have been fired. No doubt in my mind. So my rules, my patience towards that kind of gaslighting. He basically gaslit me. Right. And it was just bizarre. Most bizarre thing. Anyways, it's a Twilight Zone. And I've actually been joking about it over the last 24 hours extensively. But it also is a huge learning. It's a great experience to go through with a lot of things that my clients bring forward in sessions, that they get really lost in. And it's like, it's fun to kind of play in it and just see it from different perspectives and see, how I might be creating meaning out of it, how I might be taking it personally, and how I might be seeing it as a judgment. It's just funny. So anyways, but adding to the quote again, understanding that what other people's realities are none of your business is really freeing. When you understand this fully, when you really see it in your own life, not in a logical sense, not in your logical left brain, but in your right brain, when you see it in your own life and you gather proof and you see that that's true, it frees you from the burden of worrying about what other people think of you. And likely they're thinking of you less than you really realize. Hi, Facebook user. I can't see the comments or who it is that's commenting from the Facebook group, which is kind of funny, but that's okay. But thank you for saying hi. But let me know, again, where you're tuning in from if you're watching this. If you haven't already, I have my CDA, Coeur d'Alene follower here, but here in Spokane, like I think it's 39 degrees. But if we haven't met, whether that be in person or on a live, or if we're not working together in a coaching relationship, I'm Catherine Hood. I am a happiness coach, a fun name that I coined myself. It's so funny, just like when you think about buying a red car or a gray car or a new color that you've never seen before, and you get all excited and you go buy that car, and now you see that color everywhere. Same thing. I see happiness coaching all over the place. So I don't think I was the first one to name it, but if I was, I should have patented it. But really, what I like to do is I really like to help individuals or small groups obtain happiness in their life. And I had someone today message me on LinkedIn, and I probably will have some LinkedIn viewers, that they didn't like the word happiness. I was like, interesting. Say more. Tell me more. Share with me what that means. Because truly, happiness is just a word. And again, we all have our own reality, our own way of placing meaning on words. So what does that mean to you? Like what's the story behind that? So I find that to be immensely curious. But I do help people define what happiness is for them. And again, the definition of happiness, often when I start working with a client, is very different 1 to 2 months down the road than what they started with. It's usually, it flips it on its head. A lot of people come to me wanting external happiness. They're wanting validation. They're wanting success. They're wanting love. They're wanting all these things that are outside of themselves. Certain waist size, a certain pant size, a certain whatever. But I help them see things much differently. I help them really understand what happiness is and where it is and how to get it and how to have it every day. So that's one of my passions, and I deeply love working with my clients. Like, we have such great, close relationships. We navigate a lot of life's challenges together, hand in hand. I support my clients through the victories and also heartbreak and grief. So anyways, so I have an amazing job. Can't say it enough. I love supporting those that really raise their hand out of courage and bravery and say, hey, help me. I can't figure this out on my own. I've tried and haven't figured it out. So I'm the lucky one. I feel like I learn from every client more than what they learn from me. So it's insane. It's amazing. So it's a blessing. And every day I learn and grow a minimum of 2 hours a day to keep stretching myself and keep learning and growing in a level that allows me to keep evolving for my clients that have been with me from day one. I have several that have been with me for years, so it's really cool. So anyways, last week at this time, we did a fun coaching session. Again, somebody submitted a submission, and it was, how do I stop basing my self-worth on how many friends I have? So this one's kind of similar. It's kind of same vein. My heart really felt compelled to talk about this one because it was kind of general, and I felt like it was very relatable by the majority. And it's coming up a lot lately for some reason. I don't know why, but it is. Caring about what other people think in all variety of different ways, but at the root of it, not feeling worthy, not feeling enough really seems to be at the base of it. But last week we talked about thinking that you have to do something to be happy. Kind of talked about that just a little bit ago. And also that there's these stories that we're needing to chase something endlessly. Kind of like I explained, I think last weekend, that at the beginning of my journey, that's what I was doing. I was chasing, I was achieving a lot, really accomplishing a lot. But the problem was I was always chasing something, always thinking that I will be happy when. And that's kind of a normal paradigm when I first start working with people. It's like, I'll be happy when I have, or when I get, or when I achieve, and something external, which creates a lot of powerlessness, helplessness, and feeling like you won't be happy until you have that. You know, one of the metaphors I use a lot, especially this last week, is, believing that when you jump on the scale to weigh yourself in the morning, and that if it goes up, that you're a bad person, you're terrible, you're awful, something's wrong with you, you're broken, you need fixed, you're etc. But if the scale goes down in the morning, then you're amazing, you're incredible, you did a good job, you're a good person, etc. Right? Well, the thing is scale can't go down every day. So that's the that's a misconception. Happiness is not on that scale. That scale can inject feelings into you. Actually, I think we talked about that last week too. So, but anyways, I want to make sure that you guys give me a thumbs up, give me some love, give me some hearts, give me some whatever, give me something that says, "Hi, Catherine, I'm going to give you some social credit by saying hello, where I'm tuning in from, where you live. Feel free to give me just the state or just maybe planet Earth. But some hearts, some likes, some loves gives me that social credit that, yeah, it gives me more reach, gets me in front of more people that maybe need to hear this message today. But again, thank you for being here and watching this live or on the recording. So let's break down the submitted question. And I've been doing this actually for a very long time, not here in the social media space, but in another platform for 3.5 years, in fact. And what's funny about it is it started off kind of like by a fluke. Like I thought, oh, this would be kind of fun. This might be kind of interesting to see how this goes. But what I found is a lot of people, including my clients that watch these or listen to my podcast or other places that I do this sort of thing, is when and also you might understand this when you hear your friends in a situation or a problem, that it's easy to see where they're blinded. It's easy to see their blind spots. It's easy to see what I say is the spinach in their teeth. It's easy to see the solution to their problems, but they're blinded by so much emotion, right? They're blinded by overthinking, overanalyzing, or whatever. But when I talk to you about it, somebody else's scenario, it seems, easy to dissect it, right? So, but really what you can do by hearing somebody else's problems and challenges by me explaining how I look at it is it usually can apply to your own life. Even if the topic doesn't make sense for you, there's a lot of things that I'm going to say today that I do say in coaching sessions. So this might be repetitive for my clients. But when you hear this over and over again in different scenarios, different problems, you kind of get this deeper understanding of what I'm trying to point to, right? So a lot of my coaching follows a similar vein, and I point to a similar understanding. So it's a lot of repetition, which I think really helps. So I'm going to go ahead and read the submitted question and then we'll dive right in. How do you not care what people think of you? I struggle for what feels like my entire life with how people perceive me, and it's only gotten worse as I've gotten older. I'm at a place in my life where I know who I am and I know what I'm capable of, but I let what people think of me or how they may view me stop me from doing what I really want to do. Even imagine even imagining me where I want to be and the thought of people looking at me and maybe making fun of me. It affects every part of my life down to the way I eat in public. I've gotten to the point where I put myself down before they can, and I'm sick of it. I don't want to be afraid anymore. I've tried so hard not to care about it and shift my perspective, but it never stops. So, if this is you that submitted this, first off, thank you for submitting this. And if maybe this sounds familiar to you, maybe you've been through this, or maybe you're going through this right now, I want to state just really clearly how heavy and painful that this may seem. This seems all pervasive to the point where when I read this, if I put myself in that person's shoes, I'm like, man, I feel isolated. I would like want to hide. I wouldn't want to go anywhere, or do anything exciting or fun. I would be fearful, terrified. So from you guys, your perspective, what would be one word to describe what you heard in that submission? What is a feeling word to describe how this person probably feels? Maybe that they're struggling, worried, consumed. Maybe they feel small or little, insignificant, very little peace, fearful, afraid, low self-esteem. That's one word, or not one word, two words, hyphenated, of course. Lost, probably confused. So it's really essential to pull out the feeling words and to reflect back what I hear in just a short sentence or just a few words. And the reason is because if I got it right, they'll often give me more clarity. They'll explain themselves even deeper. If I get it wrong, they'll explain it even deeper. So either way, I can't get it wrong. So it's really being clear that I'm understanding them right, giving them a chance to maybe explain it differently or more or deeper. It always, and they also feel heard. Even if you get it wrong, they still feel heard. They'll go, "Oh, maybe I wasn't clear," and then they'll explain it differently. It's really a beautiful thing, and I really encourage you to do that with your friends and people that confide in you, is reflect back in just a few words what you hear. And it's really important to point out what you're hearing in their statements or what their stories or how they're articulating how they feel, because sometimes they don't realize how dark and dreary and blue they sound. So a little bit of awareness mixed in there too is very helpful. So it's very, very big. Just kind of a big tip for me. Now with this person that submitted this, this is a poem that I often like to share with my clients. If I don't share it with you, most of the time I don't share it in session. I'll usually send you an email with this poem, but this is a poem that I deeply love and would apply for this scenario. So I'm going to go ahead and read it. The Way People View You is the title. Sometimes I think about the different characters I play in everybody's story. I'm a terrible person in some people's narratives and a godsend in others. And none of it has anything to do with the person I truly am. The lens that others view you through is colored by their upbringings, their beliefs, their individual experiences. Some people see you having a bright personality as endearing, and others see it as annoying. Some people think you're weak and emotional, and others feel safe to be themselves around you. Some people think you're rude and selfish, and others respect the way you stand up for yourself. Some people admire the way you take pride in the way you look, and others think you're conceited. And none of it has to do with who you truly are as a person. What you have to understand is that you have no authority over how people view you. So never try to control the way others see you, because the only thing that truly matters when the dust settles down at the end of the day is what you genuinely see in yourself. That poem was written by Cody Brett. I really, really love that. Like, it just nails it perfectly. I've seen lots of evidence and proof of this in my life with people. Like, for instance, the guy yesterday, what he said to me may have, to me, I was like taken aback by that, right? Because I've been in the customer service industry and that's not how you speak to people. you don't you don't gaslight people after they just spent money with you. Uh, but that's, for me, right? That's my view, that's my perspective, I have years and years of experience in that industry, sort of similar in the service. And somebody else might have thought that was funny. That somebody else might, and he didn't laugh. He looked at me with a straight face, but still, somebody else, and maybe that's the way his comedy is. Maybe it's dry. I don't know. But somebody else might have thought that was funny or witty or cute or really not even hear it, right? So we all take things in differently. So, anyways, for those of you that heard the poem, I'd love to hear your take on it, what you heard from it, what maybe meaning you're making of it, if you're taking anything away from it. I thought it was a beautiful poem, and if it interests you, I can definitely share it with you. Make sure to comment. Hey, Catherine, will you share that poem with me? I'll whatever, copy and paste it for you if that interests you. But if, again, this scenario, or if you are the person that submitted this submission, is this it sounds like, you really were really clear that this is something you've struggled with your whole life. And I typically, and I, again, we're not in a coaching scenario where I can't confirm or deny this, but it sounds like you're deeply attached to wanting to control how other people feel you or feel about you or think about you. And that's not possible, right? That takes a lot of mental and emotional energy to try to bend that reality. So, what is it that someone can do about what other people think? What can you do about that? What can you do about what other people think of you? We really only have two choices. And you're already doing the one, right? Trying to control it, trying to manage it, trying to bend it, trying to make it different, trying to change it, trying to whatever. So the other option is to accept it and make peace with it. And likely, if you've been doing this for a very long time, you'll realize once you let go of that and make peace with it, you're going to have all this new energy. And you might be the type of person that's like going to the doctor and complaining to your friends, I have no energy. I have no energy. I'm so exhausted. I feel tired all the time. It's because you're thinking so much about what other people are thinking of you. So when you let that go, you make peace with it, move through the feelings, understand where your feelings are coming from, you'll find that you'll have a lot more energy to pivot and put that energy towards things that you're passionate about, things you want to learn. You could change that energy, pivot it to things to grow and have more fun, have more excitement in your life, whatever that is for you. But desiring to control things that we can't, it automatically sets you into a state of helplessness. Automatically. Again, it uses up vital mental and emotional energy that could go towards other things that maybe you enjoy. So what you're describing is just a simple habit of thought. It's been learned and it could be unlearned. So there's nothing wrong with you. It's just learned. It's just a habit. So what can you control? What is it that you can control? Go ahead and put it in the comments. What is it that you can control? I always say, and I get a little bit of backflack on this, but what you can control is what you think, feel, and how you act or respond. 3 things. Can't necessarily control how you think, but after you work with me, you'll see what I mean by that. It's not necessarily controlling it, but it's just it's so easy to say it that way. But you can, on the thinking part, we can command and shift your automatic thoughts with repetition. You can make a new automatic thought. You can create new habits of thinking if you are putting a lot of importance on it and intentional. And oftentimes you need help to do that, like from someone like me. So it is really rather clear from this person's submission how they feel, right? They described feeling struggled their whole life. They feel worried. They feel consumed by what other people think about them. They have very little peace in their life. They're afraid. So if you were them, what's one word to describe how you would want to feel? Right? They didn't put that in their submission. I have no idea how they want to feel. No clue. So what would be the opposite of feeling like you're struggling? What's the opposite of feeling worried? What's the opposite of overthinking? What's the opposite of not having peace? What's the opposite of low self-esteem? What's the opposite? Oftentimes I ask this question, how do you want to feel? And I pause and they're tongue-tied, especially brand new clients. Brand new clients don't know how to answer that. They might give me 1 or 2 mediocre words, and then they go woo, right back into how they don't want to feel, describing how miserable they are. I don't want to feel miserable. I don't want to this. I don't want to hate people. I don't want to blah. They just keep barfing up how they currently feel. It's fascinating to me. Again, it's a habit of thought. That's all. It's their brain is keeping them safe. And in this submission, they did state, I no longer want to feel afraid. That's not clear. Again, the brain doesn't understand those words. It's a simple machine. It hears, feel afraid. The brain needs clear, precise language and words of what you want, how you want to feel, not what you don't want to feel. It doesn't understand that. It doesn't understand the word don't at all. So being able to articulate how you want to feel not only holds tremendous power that could potentially transform your life, but by learning how to express and articulate your words and describe your emotions of what you want to feel, you're going to shift your brain. You're going to shift your focus from overthinking and analyzing and then feeding your brain more words that are powerful, more thoughts that are powerful. You're going to create stories and build an imagination of what you want. It opens up the creative side of your brain, the right side of your brain, and it gives you access to your heart, your intuition, your wisdom, your knowing, whatever you want to call it. Some people call it God, some people call it Jesus Christ, whatever. But this empowers you to take control over your own experience. So it's about self-awareness, self-expression, being able to communicate. It's going to lead you to tremendous clarity and purpose in your life. Communication is one of the biggest challenges I see with new clients. Some clients really have a hard time communicating with me, especially those that are really worried about what other people think of them. They really, when I first start working with them, it's like pulling teeth. It's like, communicate. It's like, and I'm not looking for fancy words. Simple, tiny words: joy, excitement, fun, happy, memories. I don't know, whatever. Give me some words. 3rd grade level. That's all I'm looking for. So what happens when you are more alert, more awake, more aware? When you are more focused on what you want in your life, you're automatically going to think and act and behave in alignment with with that thinking. I don't know, but I'm going to assume it's imperative for you to have a life that feels meaningful, that has purpose, or in other words, a happy life, right? Back to the LinkedIn person's like, why? I don't like the word happy. Oh, that's fine. What word resonates with you? It's just a word. It means what you want it to mean. But living from a place of doing what other people do, right? Following them like a sheep, doing what other people want you to do, doing what you think they want you to do, becoming what you think others would be proud of you doing in this life that's yours, is living a life from the outside in. And 100%, it's going to make you feel hopeless and miserable. And you are a slave to these people. Let that wash over you. But when we're intentionally making time and space to reflect on and being able to articulate how we truly want to feel, and letting words that you cultivate and come up with create your intentions, it paves a way for a vibrant, joyful, meaningful life or a happy life. It allows you to embrace the power of being able to communicate what you desire, being able to create and foster emotions that transform your life and change your reality completely. The words you come up with, you're not going to find on Google. You're not going to find on an app. You're not going to find in a book or a program or anything. They come from your right side of your brain. They come from you. They're words that hold power and energy to you, where they have unique meaning to you. I've had clients even make up words that are important to you, no one else. So they're not the meaning in the Webster dictionary. the meaning that you embrace. And when this submission, they talked about fighting, kind of like this pressure and this fighting against this habit of thought, right? But thinking, ruminating, fighting with yourself and those thoughts and looking for solutions externally to solve this internal feeling, it creates more suffering. It actually makes it worse. And I know this is such a common statement with my brand new clients. Like, I struggle with this, I fight with this, I'm battling this. I'm wrestling with this. They explain it in so many, it's so funny. They're able to articulate how they don't want to feel so well. Like, I have all these images and they use a lot of metaphors, which I love. I love metaphors. Absolutely love it. More metaphors, the better. But it creates a bigger problem in their mind. You see, our brain loves certainty. Our brain loves familiarity. That's why I keep stating it's a habit of thought. Your mind and your brain are going into action, constantly looking for proof that you are that way. You are not worthy. You are not good enough. And if you believe that you're broken and you're not good enough, your brain and your mind are going to go, whoop, yep, here's proof. Here's a scorecard. Yep, owner, we've got all this proof and data to support this belief. Your brain doesn't care if you're happy. It doesn't care if you're successful. It doesn't care if you're beautiful or popular, if you're a social influencer. It doesn't care if you're liked. It doesn't care if you're adored. It doesn't care if you have a nice car. It doesn't care if you have a good job. It simply thrives in the space of familiarity and what feels good. And likely for you, your brain is saw controlling what other people think of you as some sort of means to keep you safe. So it's going to see it as a pattern that's helpful to do over and over and over again to keep you safe and out of harm's way. So your brain is working really well for you. And in fact, I find that to be interesting too. And I tell my clients that are stuck in this paradigm, this habit is, funny enough, I feel like they're really intelligent people. They're very, very intelligent people. They have a brain that's just working super hard. They really are brilliant people. It's a gift. Can be a curse, but it is a gift. So learning to differentiate between what is worth your attention and what's not. What's serving you and what's not. What are you putting your focus on? What are you giving your attention to? Because what you give your attention to grows. So choosing how you want to feel very carefully with help from somebody, I really highly recommend that. But choosing words that give your mind and brain something else to gather proof and evidence on. That's helpful, that's supportive, information that serves you, that's in alignment with your morals, your purpose, your meaning in this life. Not what other people's morals, meanings, purpose, rules. No, yours and only yours. I don't think anybody's broken. I don't think anybody needs fixed. I just think they don't understand how their mind, their brain, their consciousness, how their thoughts work. Because everyone's worthy. Everyone's worthy of being happy. Everyone's worthy of feeling enough. And you're way more powerful than you realize. You can create a life, you can create a reality, you can create an existence that feels good. However you want to explain that, happy, whatever, joyful. But if you're like this person that's suffering, that feels stuck in a story, it's all in your mind. Stories and whatever stories you're making, it's just your imagination. You're feeling, you're thinking, and you're believing it's real. But no thought is real. This cup is real because I can touch it. I can feel it. But when you see what thought is, what it really is, you end up becoming very resilient. You kind of have a sense of humor about your thoughts. So being able to articulate how you want to feel and putting your mind and brain on the task of gathering proof and evidence that that's your new story, the story that you want to build on, the story that you want to create, that gives your brain something else to build a safety and certainty around, some sort of comfort. Is it easy? Maybe not at first. But again, that's why you need support by someone like me. When we want to change things that are outside of our control, that's outside of our hands, we end up causing ourselves a lot of stress and the feeling of hopelessness. When we focus what is in our control, we not only create a happiness and a sense of purpose and worth, but we focus in on what's really important. And we know what to do. We don't have to ask the internet. We don't have to go on social media and say, what do I need? What do I need to do? You know inside of you. But when you focus in on what's out of your control, it causes so much unnecessary suffering right here in the gray matter because you're focusing on the wrong things. So focus on the things that bring you joy, pleasure, happiness, purpose, meaning, things that stretch you. Learn to activate all 5 of your senses in different ways. This opens up your consciousness to new heights, and you'll experience life in full color. And maybe you've never experienced life in full color. And again, that's what I'm here to help you with. Our brains are malleable. Our brains adapt. Our brains will mold to whatever you deeply want, whatever you deeply value, whatever you find really incredibly important. It will pivot. It will adjust. So how do you want to feel? Rewrite the script to your story, to your book, to your movie, your whatever, to help you move forward, where you feel more resilient. Because what you focus on, that's what's going to make you feel a certain way. So change your focus, shift your focus on what it is that you want to focus on. I think all of us have been to a movie, right? Have you been to a movie, been to the movie theater, and when you walked in and when you walked out, you felt completely different? What do you make of that? Maybe you felt completely different in the middle of it, certain different points. Maybe in the commercials you felt a certain way. Maybe, those commercials were terrible or awful, or maybe they're really good and catchy and like, oh, now I'm really hungry. I don't know. Think about all the feelings that each part of the movie experience gives you. Maybe you cried in the movie. Maybe you got angry in the movie. Maybe you got terrified and was hiding. Think about all those feelings. Where do those feelings come from? From your thoughts, your imagination. So train your mind and your brain to work for you instead of resisting it, fighting it, wrestling with it. And I know for most of you, if this is the first time you've ever heard my voice or read anything of mine, this might seem hard or impossible. Well, if you think that, then that'll be true. But again, that's why it's important to get help and support from me. I can help you navigate this in a way that is easy. All right. It was really quiet today. Sad. I really like it when there's a lot of people that show up, but maybe there's a lot of fun things going on today, and I fully understand that. I hope you are having a fun weekend. But if you would, let me know what you heard. Comment. Or even, I have several people last weekend private message me. They were too shy to post on the video, which I really appreciate it when you do post on the video. It gives me more social credit, but that's okay. I understand. If you feel safe, again, what's that about? Why do you not feel safe posting publicly? Like, really? Anyways, what stories are you making up? But that's okay. I do love hearing from you, whether that be private message or commenting on these videos or even texting me. I love hearing from all of you. whatever you feel comfortable with, honestly. I would appreciate it if you would consider working with me, navigating anything that you're challenged with, anything that you're struggling with. I'm here for you, as always, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.